Alright, welcome folks to Tyranny. I'm your host Luke Khan, and let's go ahead and start a new game. We're going to go on story mode because we want story, and it takes forever for combat to go. And the longer, or the more difficult it is, the combat slows down. So we're going to go for story and less combat. I mean, there will still be combat, it's just more turn-based, and you'll see. You'll see.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Narad, spy master and Archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tyranny, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tyranny brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Alright, so that's the prologue. We're going to go ahead and get started. Just go ahead and do that. We're definitely going to go male. Yep, definitely going to go male. And we're definitely going to go with beard. Give me the beard. Nope, nope, nope. Beard. Nope, nope, nope. Beard. There we go. That's reasonable, and we're going to go with that. Let's go ahead and lighten up the beard a little bit. Looks reasonable. And we're going to go with soldier. We're definitely going to go great sword. And we'll take sundering. And we'll go war mace because they kind of stack together. And we're going to go with white, and then we're going to go with gold on blue. That looks good. Gold on, there we go, let's try this. No shield, is there a weapon? That looks pretty good right there. Is there a snake? Yeah, there's a snake right there. Tyranny, if you didn't know, is more of an anti-hero, kind of more realistic and less fantasy. I've got through the first act. I'll be Lucan. And I was very impressed with it. We want probably 15, 12, 16. There we go. And we're definitely going to go two-handed, and we're going to try to max that out. Athletics. Parry. Base value, great sword expertise, warrior. Dodge is 20%, lower is 21, substitute is 20. Okay, that looks pretty good. And we're going to go with Conquest. Because I like having a backstory.
All the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. Two armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior.
Okay. So that kind of gives us a bit
In
of...
the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
Alright. So in Conquest, we get to decide what we want to do. You're one of the Kratos Conquest. Alright, the Bastard City. The Bastard City stood at the northern border between Kratos' Empire and the Tears. Built upon a natural harbor at the crossroads between the realms, the city of the nexus of commerce. To the Tears, it was the center of all wealth. To the Northerners, it was a little more than a backwater trade post. Its symbolic status at the gateway of the continent made it the a natural first target of Kratos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in the Kratos army. Taking this city was sent a message to the rest of the Tears. Kratos is insurmountable. Gates of Judgment. The army of Kratos took to the Battle of the Gates. You rushed the chaotic masses, the Scarlet Letters, and flanked the Bastard City's army and drove them to flee. Shield to shield, or... yeah, we're definitely going to go with the Disfavored. The Bastard City learned too late that the military is earned and never bought. The mercenaries' army quickly found themselves outclassed by their superior tactics. Formation of the Disfavored. Those few who lived to the end of the battle were rounded up, the weak executed, and the strong enslaved to haul the army's wagons on the journey south. Judging the enemies. Soldiers of Tyr fell to the hundreds, and Kratos' army could not agree on how to handle the few survivors they dragged back into camp. Befitting their role, the commanders turned to you to decide the fate of those who would occupy prison pens. There are only enough prisoners to support the plan of a single army. Faber needed slaves to haul their gear back to the dig latrines and keep their pallets warm at night. You conscripted the survivors to battle their subservience roles in the Graven Ash noble troops. You gave prisoners a chance to serve the Kratos army or die. The Scarlet Chorus is in need of extra troops to fill the vanguard, and your former enemies would occupy those slots nicely. Yep, make them into troops. Your armed Coronation ex-soldiers scrapped armor and tossed them into the vanguard of the next Scarlet Chorus assault. Those who survived were welcome to take up the arms and armor of the fallen and eke out a desperate struggle to survive in Kratos' military. After their first victories, you reward the new recruits with the opportunity to execute their wounded or reluctant countrymen. Taking of the Bastard City, the armies of Kratos amassed to surround the Bastard City. The first bastion of the Tears fall. Both armies longed to storm the wall's outer posts. The Scarlet Chorus howled for the plunder, and the Disfavored formed an unbreakable shield wall. Her prowess on the battlefield was carried them this far, but there was one more step before total victory. Both the army had inspired schemes and take the Bastard City. Which did you support? Let's see here. This ability... Warrior's Respite. Minus 50 damage for 12 seconds. Plus 12 health every 12. What's this? Searing Palm. Mage Fire. What's this? Conceal in Shadows. We're definitely going to go with this one. Taking the bastard city with heroic and courage, the legendary determination disfavored battered the gates of the bastard city to splinters. Those who fell under the consistent hail of arrows and cascades of boiling pitch left the battlefield temporarily. Only the appear hours later, and the Archon's graven ash protection healed their numerous wounds. And in time, the gates gave way, and Kratos' forces spilled inside the city walls and surrounded in resounding cheers of victory. Alright. So the apex or... choose the next location. Let's see what this one is. Year 2 of Kratos' conquest. Into the tears we go. Apex. The mountain's nation Apex, ruled for generations by the queens of House's Vanguard, stood at the heart of tears. No army could bypass the landlocked realm without leaving their flank exposed to attack. By the second year of the war, the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus had pushed deep into the tears. Elements of both armies were dispatched to conquer Apex. Tyranny assigned you to the company then, tasked with bringing Kratos' law in the territory to, as well as keeping an eye on both armies. Denial of strength, or the Battle of Aegon Pass. This favored sent their most destructive allies to crush Aegon Fort Cairn. Archon stone buried in the stronghold under the avalanche, triggering the surrounding mountains. The Scarlet Chorus were promised capturing enemies for recruits, yet none survived the onslaught. The Chorus demanded compensation. You congratulated the disfavored for taking the pass without risking the lives of Kratos' loyal servants. At this stage of the campaign, it was vital to use any advantage that would mitigate Allied losses. Definitely take the disfavored. Scarlet Battle claims were insignificant compared to the lossless victory. You congratulated the disfavored and encouraged the Scarlet Chorus to better value their soldiers' lives, a suggestion that gang bosses took worse than the original offense. Vowing to remember this, the slighted army returned to the camp to sulk, if not lick their wounds. Swords of the Fallen. Scarlet Chorus soldiers were seen wearing disfavored gear, purposely taken from those who had fallen in battle. Disfavored were outraged, citing the tradition of their armor passed only to the next of kin within the army. It debates the tradition versus practical. You had to rule in favor of one army over the other. You upheld the disfavor's tradition, or you denied the disfavor's complaint, as the demand of war rendered such vain customs irrelevant. Lacking in suitable armor, the Scarlet Chorus would retain what they had collected. Yep. Swords of the Fallen. You explained the Graven Ash that his disfavored and the army needed capable arms more than they needed rigid adherence to traditions. Scarlet Chorus expressed gratitude for understanding their challenging position, but the disfavored took the ruling with less grace. Ashengrave returned to camp and conducted a prolonged series of funeral rites for every soldier who fell in the conquest, bellowing their names repeatedly and expressing proud, long gratitude for the dead. The Fall of Apex. After a span of battles, the army of Apex finally agreed to peace talks. The Queen herself agreed to attend the negotiation summits and invited the representatives of Tyranny to discuss possible terms. How did you negotiate the enemy's surrender? Through days of meditation, you negotiated a surrender of the Valley of Kratos' forces, putting an end to the bloodshed. Taunting the Queen of Apex into striking you under a banner of truce, you baited the Queen of Apex into a duel and slew her, frightening her vassals into submission. Yes, definitely talk. Your former enemies were oathed to part with their lands, but they were even more reluctant to continue war. They were losing at every turn. The Tiersmen were a stubborn lot and despised their grim situation. It took days to discuss in diplomacy to show them the madness of tenancy. On the third day of the meditation, the rulers of Apex finally submitted to your terms of surrender, putting an end to the war in the valley and freeing up Kratos' forces to march deeper into the tier. There we are. Alright, where are we going to go? We're going to go to, let's see here, Conquest. Military tradition. We're definitely going to go there. Year 3 of the Kratos Conquest. Start. The realm of Start was best known for its proud army, disciplined, courageous, and undefeatable on this home soil. Skill and unresolved steward of the military power of Kratos, forces approached with due caution. With its southern position, Stuart had been largely safe from the war, watching the 2 years of its neighbor fell into Kratos' forces. On the dawn of the 3rd year of the war, Kratos' forces finally poised to invade the Start Peninsula and subdue the tier's most vaunted army. Definitely supplies or setbacks. Let's see what this is. After defeat of the hands of the enemy defenders, the Scarlet Chorus accused the Disfavored of recklessness. Disfavored claimed that the Scarlet Chorus brought too few soldiers to cover their flank. Both armies refused to march until you gave rule. Like improve the Scarlet Chorus recruits were negligent. You punished this disfavored commander for his failings and for bringing charges without evidence. Knowing the disfavor's reputation for discipline and the Scarlet Chorus power to instill fear and fierce, you decided that the Scarlet Chorus was in the wrong. So, I think it's dumb. The Graven Ash was the first to step forward and dispute your ruling. He argued that the Scarlet Chorus was a directless menace, sowing chaos and disorder wherever they went. The further evidence did you need, and after a polite reminding him of his opinions were admissible, he stormed out of the camp with units of soldiers and didn't return for several hours. The fall of the Regent. The army of Kratos collaborated on the capture of the enemy leader. The Scarlet Chorus requested that she be interrogated by the Archon of Secrets. The disfavored wished to display her corpse in the battle. Since the stalwart defenders refused to surrender, a gesture was needed to instill fear. You ordered that the enemy commander be sent to the Voices Netra for interrogation. Like so many enemy prisoners, a stored renegade vanished inside the Voice of Nessa's tent, never to be seen again. The screams were only evident, and she had ever passed through camp, and those went on beyond the most conceivable possible. When at last she fell silent, the voice invited you inside, where was no regent to be found, only a map in which the voice had marked with hasty scrolls, marking supposed weaknesses in the enemy's defense. Disfavored carved a slow, steady path into the heart of Start and surrounded the enemy's massive fortress. With the main bulk of their forces defeated, the enemy's leadership retreated to a mighty fortress content to wait out the war. The Overlord answered with impotence, with Edict of the Storms of the Pennsylvania, a devastating spell that would endure for as long as the cowardly hearts of the Stuart leaders persisted in beating. Knowing before anyone else that the edict would occur, the Voice of Nerat lobbied for you to deliver a mighty incantation. Aside from being given 3 days window to read the edict, you received no other instructions. Read the wishes of the disfavored, you proclaimed the edict at once, leaving the enemy no time to react. The Stuart was ample time. In an attempt to integrate itself with his people of Stuarts, the Stuart insisted that a warning be sent to towns and villagers, so the town may prepare for the horrors that would descend upon them. No, we're definitely going to side with the disfavored. You agreed with the disfavored rationale, and the leader of the Stuarts had refused honorable battle, and too many disfavored lives were lost in this campaign. Since the last regent refused to leave the keep, you would let him watch his people suffer. Without hesitation or regret, you broke the seal of Kratos' Edict of Storms and read the Overlord's incantation. The Edict of Storms. A clear sky darkened as you read the final words of the edict. A fury of winds and storms whipped through the rolling plains and cragged canyons, turning rocks, uprooting trees, and helpless soldiers into hazardous shrapnel. Armed with a measure of foresight, you were able to remove yourself from the area before the storm grew more violent. Over time, nearby communities told of cyclones consisting of thousands of soldiers' worth of limbs, spears, armor, and skulls. What's more, the weather showed no sign of dissipating. Several units of disfavored who thought the enemy, in spite of the advanced storm, were caught up in the Overlord's magic, and few survivors regrouped to nurse their wounds. Their failure to topple the Stuart Legion shamed them into believing the dead more fortunate. The name Stuart fell from use. People took to calling it the Blade Grave, for the remade landscape festooned and the iron and bronze lamentations of the two once great legions. As Kratos' forces departed, you spared a glance back at the ruins of Start, marveling at your work. You didn't have long to rest before Tyranny called you into service once more. Okay. So that is our background, which is very interesting. I enjoyed that. Very much a soldier. Very much a soldier carrying out orders. Yeah, most of my goal is to make a character who is very, very tanky, but he's an offensive tank. He's definitely DPS. His goal is to get as much damage out as possible. Wearing heavy armor, of course. Damage. So much damage.
The year is 431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault. With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused, and Kairos has one message for the Archons: crush the Oathbreakers or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
Excellent. Oh, good transition. Nice. Forgot about that. I presume we've been expecting you. Let's see here. The Overlord be praised or heard of the avalanche. Fear that that's sealed you on the other side. I can hear the hum of magic in the glow around the rocks. The avalanche of Kratos magic. The Overlord has sealed the valley. I am in a hurry to deliver a message to the Archons. Come now, let us show these Oathbreakers a good fight. Alright, excellent. Okay. So this is a game tutorial, stating what needs to be done. I'm pretty familiar with it because I've already beaten the first part.
On it.
There we go. And it's just telling them what's going on. Whetstone, and then potion of protection.
On it.
So there's dead bodies there. The ancient Weeping Mother statue pays homage to the Queen of Larsus, first in her home. There's also this right here. Fairly ordinary. Okay, so... Oh, no, go back down. I didn't want to do that. That's fine. I'm pretty sure that there's stuff here. Yep, there is, right there. Let's grab this stuff. Water skin and topaz. Okay. So now we need to run back. Squeeze through it or athletics. Squish.
Right.
Okay, and space battle.
On it. Right. Sorry, can't.
It's a good thrust. Wounds are not trivial. Don't bother with me. Go down to the pest. Help you. Gurnesh protects. Go on and then help the others. Okay, so... Oh, let's not forget loot. What is this? This is a spear. What's this? Okay.
Try and catch me, worm.
Young Scarlet Fury weaves through the Vendrian guard, attackers avoiding their weapons with fluid grace. She nods to acknowledge you. A breathless enemy soldier passes a glance to her countrymen. This one's crazy, too much lead in her water. We should cut our losses and turn back.
Fate Finder. You're here at last. Here to join me in putting these cowards out of their misery.
Save something for me. For the realm of Apex charge. Level the weapons. Okay.
Come at me, grave meat.
Come at me, grave meat. Interesting.
I'll take.
Nice.
Will do. Will do.
Let's go ahead and sunder. There we go.
Phew. I can tell you didn't spend the conquest in a diplomat's tent.
Fire surveys the fresh corpses and nod with satisfaction.
I'm versed, by the way. But there are more important things to take care of than introductions. Those Vendrian guard we killed didn't come alone.
Join the battle. I'm ready when you are.
Eager. I like that. Before we go, you might search among the remains of our fallen comrades. Wherever they're bound, I doubt they'll miss their boots, much less any rings or any useful iron they might be clutching.
Rings or gold? That's your point.
No reason to pity the fallen. Before long, we might wish we'd joined them here. But at least we'll enjoy heavy pockets and warm toes. For the voices of Nerat!
Alright. See what we got here. Sun Spear. Gonna grab that. Requires lore 21.
On it.
Okay. Eyes forward and no looking back. The Vanguard guard warrior roars as he's flak is a symbol of military. Yes. It is sincere upon a weapon. Endeavor to master. Gain favor with the Vanguard. You. Peacebinder from the war. You've come to once again talk to peace. It seems you're too late. Drop your weapons and perhaps we can sell this without bloodshed. Knew that violating the surrender meant the end of our little mercy. And goodwill Kratos' forces would never would show us. Now there's no turning back. He shakes his head and frowns. I know you tried to do the right by us in the past. But now you're between us and the way out. Nothing personal. Wait, Binder, did I hear that correctly? Maybe you misunderstand why we're here. Alright. Run down the Oathbreakers and let none escape. Hold your positions, all of you. You there, keep to the path. No, don't engage them. We need to run. Let's go ahead and fight.
Trouble.
Okay.
Will do.
There we go. Try hitting them both. Didn't do as much as I'd hope. What's this do?
Damn thing couldn't pierce cloth.
Blood-soaked stone. Oh wow, that's cool. That worked. Come quick, we have a situation inside where they have the commander. Companions. Let's go ahead and collect our reward. What's this? Two-handed. Where's our gear? Scroll of Edict.
Can't do that.
There you are.
I got it.
Let's go ahead and grab this. Let's go ahead and grab that. What are you doing? Don't draw attention to me. Proxteal. Stow your weapons, or we find out how long a man screams before he hits the ravine. The Oathbreaker holds a disfavored officer with a knife point. Slew him. Don't worry about me. Ashengrave will protect his favorite officer. Winces. Blood seeps from the seams of his bracering cutlass. You heard the man. He plainly invites you to use the little blade of yours. What are you waiting for? Permission from your wimp? Could do conquest. I am Lucan. My name should be known to you. Gain wrath of the Scarlet Thing. You gain favor from him. Your return's envoy. He watches you closely for a long moment until his posture slacks and he lowers his knife. If you will vouch for my safety, then his sentence is halted by a spear thrust into his lungs. Leaping forward a moment, Tyrael lowers his blades. His favorite sword slaughters the Oathbreaker. Does staggers to face struggles, say nothing. Kratos be praised, the Oathbreaker fought like the range himself. Thank you, Faithbinder. Thought today was my last. Examine the parchment. That's scrolling, useless scrolling, nothing more. Recruitment material, they're trying to bring more traders into the fight. Because they're expecting of you. Sounds good to me. Okay, let's see what we got here. Quick fingers, and we've got that. So we'll take both of those. Where's our equipment, yo? Where's our equipment? I don't see our equipment anywhere. That's fine. Let's talk to her. Fatebinder, it's honored by your presence. Was the situation? The Oathbreaker held the citadel of the valley, the one built around the base of the spire. The main river has been our largest headache during the siege. It's unsafe for an armored troop to ford, safe for a key location. The enemy knows this well as we do. I know a lot further through the Scarlet Course, using allegations of strength in numbers to ford the river themselves, and overwhelm the enemy. It looks at the verses unfair and disapproval. As it is, we must take the valley slowly and advance this favored bulwark, since that is where the real work gets done. Verse has a point. There's been a lack of coordination here. Gain the wrath of his favor, gain loyalty from Verse. Carry on. Okay. What's this? It requires 29 subterfuge. Seems to be something going on here. What's this? Fatebinder, it is an honor that transport to visit our humble service. Need supplies. Let's see what you have. Bronze sword, buckler. Nothing that I really want. The president says his name is Tarek Damos. I don't even think that this is a complicated matter. He dies. His family has been driving force in the Valorant Guard. Killing him should demoralize whatever is left of the Turret's clan. All must be given a chance to the correspondent falls eyes and recognizes. So you, I see how it is. Have you come to once again deny us our right? How do you expect us to fight if you're denied our new blood? We'll let you take prisoners, but you can't control them. You send these conscripts out on patrols, but they never return, defecting all over again. I can't let this nonsense strategy continue. Well, I insist the Oathbreaker be taken to the Voices of Naruto, leaving us at the impasse. Unfortunately, we have a Fatebinder here to sell the matter for us. So what do you say? What should become of this prisoner? The chorus should be allowed a chance to recruit his new soldiers. Gain favor with the Scarlet and wrath with the disfavored. If it will calm your nerves, I assure you that this one won't be put on the battlefield. Make sure the prisoner is taken straight to the Voices of Narat. I won't keep you here any longer, Fatebinder. I know you have important business in the valley. Sleeps for the glory of Kratos. Okay. Fatebinder, nothing to talk about. Fine. Got nothing to talk about. Fine.
Sorry, can't.
There we go. Let's keep going. Let's go to the new area. And we are the quote-unquote bad guys. Alright. This is a good place to stop as we make our way to a new map. I will see you folks in the next video, alright? Bye.